Hey guys, in this video I'm going to show you how to get a fire cape. I'm going to go over the different things you'll need, what gear you want to bring, what items such as potions and food. We'll start there and then I'll kind of go through some different tips and tricks you can do in the caves to maximize what you're bringing. This way you save as many supplies as you can for Jad. And then finally how you actually fight Jad and the best way to do it. Okay, so starting off with the gear that you want to take into the fight caves. What I always recommend is the best items you can take with you. So obviously the best for your level, the best for your stats. But in this case, I know sometimes price can be an issue, so go with what's the best that you can afford. I think that's the key word there. For me, what I did was I went with ARAMs with the Staff of Light, which actually allows you to use less runes and gives very strong magic stats, but you can go for one book, whatever your preference is. Now, I did add a Slayer helmet to my gear, just because it allowed me to get extra damage versus the monsters in the fight cave because I was assigned to it during a Slayer task, which made it a lot easier to kill them. But if you don't have that as a Slayer task or it's not something you want to do, just bring a hood or whatever else you need. That'll make it easy. But like I said, the best gear you can bring is the best way to go. Make sure all the items maximize your magic damage. And there's a couple different things you can add as well, such as the Vampirism Aura, which can give you some health back through your fighting. The second time I went to the caves, I didn't even use mine, so it's not necessary, definitely not necessary, but it's something that can help if you think you need that little extra bit of sustain as you go through the fight caves. Okay, so next I'm going to go over different types of monsters you're actually going to face in the cave in the order that you're going to actually reach them. So you're going to start off by fighting the bats, then the blobs are going to come out, then you're going to have to fight the rangers, then the melees, then you're finally going to fight the mages, and then last is Jad, obviously. Now, the order in which you kill them is very specific because you want to make sure you're maximizing your resources as you go through the 62 waves before Jad. So the first ones you want to kill the bats. That's just because every time they auto you, they're going to drain your prayer. So it's really important that you take these guys out first. Next, you want to take out the rangers. These guys do a lot of damage, especially when you're going the mage route. So you want to make sure you clear these out as fast as possible after you kill the bats. This way you're reducing that damage they're hitting you with. Third, you want to kill the mages as long as the melees are behind something where they can't reach you. Usually it's pretty easy, but you want to get these out of the way next just because you want to remove that protection from mage prayer off. That way you're saving your prayer resources. Then you want to kill the melees. They're pretty easy. They're the most susceptible to your magic damage, so you melt them pretty quick. Finally, you can kill the blobs. Now, one thing I really like to note about this is, and I'll go over it a little bit more, I'll show you guys how I do this, but with the blobs, I like to isolate them, take a moment to use my adrenaline and heal up. It's really easy to do. I do this maybe every couple of waves. This way I keep my health up and it allows me not to use as much of my resources. So always save the blobs for last, get them to get your adrenaline up, then hide or get behind the rock and wait till you get out of combat and then use that to heal up before you go to the next wave. But those are the different monsters you're going to face and the best order to kill them. Next, I'm going to go over what you're going to bring your inventory to help you be the most successful in getting to Jad. Now, what you're going to use first is you're going to take your water runes and air runes. This way you can cast the water spells that are the most effective against the monsters in the fight caves. Now, whether you're using the 85 water surge or level 65 water wave or even a lower spell, you want to use what's best to your ability. So in this case, I have 88 magic, so it's pretty easy for me to use this. To use the water surge, that does most damage for me. But it's okay if you need to use the water wave, whatever is best. Then you want to take a set of super restores. I'm taking 4 in this case. I felt like that's the best for me. I'm 71 prayer, so it kind of goes with what your prayer level. If your prayer level is a little lower, you may want to bring a couple extra, depending on how it is. Now, if you're also a lower level, you may want to bring a couple extra Saradon brews. Now, funny enough, both times I faced Jad, all the way through the 62 waves, I never even touched them. So you may not even need them, but if you are lower level and you need to pack in more health items, you may want to bring some extra Saradon brews and less food. Now in this case, I brought rocktail soup and rocktails, pretty easy. I had them lying around the bank. Now you can want to bring the best food you can bring. I didn't even go through all of them either when I got all the way to Jad and finished. So depending on what you need, it really depends on your level, your health, your prayer. In this case, it worked out really well for me. Okay, just to quickly summarize, what you're going to take your inventory are the runes for the water spell, the best that you can do. Super restores, depending how many you need, depends on your prayer level. a super magic potion, that way you can use it when you get to Jad, do some extra damage, speed the process up. Ceradon brews, depending if you need them, depending on your health and your overall level. Now, one keynote is you do want to bring a prayer renewal potion. I found this super helpful. It made me not even have to use one of my super restores to the wave 55, wave 56, because what it does is, now you can bring one or two. I would recommend two, but one works as well. It slowly restores your prayer. So if you're utilizing your prayer correctly, turn it off when you're not fighting the mages. It allows you to not really use any of your super restores. Now you don't have to bring them, but I found it really helpful, so I would recommend if you can take one or two of the prayer renewals. They do make a big difference. And then just bring the best food you can use, and or Ceradon brews. But remember, if you are taking those Ceradon brews, make sure you do have the super restores to counteract the negative side effects of those potions. Okay, so next I want to go over what different types of abilities you can put in your ability bar to make it a little easier through the waves. Now, everyone has their own abilities, so whatever you're comfortable with, I would recommend. What I found was really useful was using these abilities as outlined below. I started one with Whack, and then into Sonic Wave, into Chain. Then I had Impact, Combust, and then when you get to that 50 Adrenaline, you can either do Asphyxiate, or you can do Wild Magic. Both are actually really strong, and they actually hurt the monsters and kill them pretty quick. So I usually utilize those. You can bring other ones as well, but those are the main, that 1 through 7 right there, the ones I really want to point out. Now, one thing also to note is that if you have Guthix Blessing, it is something that can really help, because it allows you, if 100 Adrenaline, to rejuvenate a lot of your health, and you can be in combat when you do this. So it can make a big difference. There is also one that you can use when you use a shield. It also does basically the same thing. Now the cooldown is 300 seconds, so it does take quite a while, so just be aware of that. But it's something you can use. Now, two things I also want to address as well. One, make sure you turn Auto Retaliate off. That can get you a lot of trouble, especially when you get to Jad. You may Auto Retaliate when you're not expecting it, miss using your prayer, and then all of a sudden you're dead. So make sure you turn off Auto Retaliate, and make sure you also, if you're using Legacy, to switch to full manual. This way, it's not automatically using the spells you're choosing. This allows you to utilize them best. I found it was the easiest when I was fighting. But those are the two things I would really recommend when it comes to the ability bar and which abilities to use. Okay, so now I want to go over a couple different tips and tricks that you can utilize as you go through the fight caves to make it a lot easier. So the first thing I want to discuss is the Italy Rock. Now this really is the best thing to know about, especially if this is your first time using the caves. Now what the Italy Rock is, as you can see in the video, it's shaped like the country of Italy. But you can use it to position the monsters in the cave in a way that they can't attack you. What this does is it saves your resources, using less food, less potions, so by the time you reach your Jad, you still have a lot of your supplies left. Now the best thing about this, after every wave, as you can see I run to that corner there in the Italy Rock. What that allows me to do is it automatically positions some of the monsters in the cave away from me. This way I can isolate only one or two, taking less damage. Now in this case I got the mage, and I can take him out right away, automatically take off my prayer, saving my prayer potion, so it makes it a little bit easier. Notice I also take the time, because no one can attack me, I use to rejuvenate, getting some of my health back. Makes it a lot easier. Then I go ahead and take out the melee monster, followed by the blobs. Now, normally I know this is not the correct order, but because the ranger can't even attack me, and the bats can't reach me, I can do this and make it easier, and there's not really any consequences. So, utilize the Italy Rock, and if you utilize it correctly, it can make a huge difference as you progress through the caves. Okay, so when you get to wave 62, you're going to get 2 mages. Now that's a sign that Jad's coming next, and Jad does come at wave 63, and they do give you a little wave marker towards the top. So what you want to do is, you don't want to prepare when you get to Jad, you want to start preparing now. So drink whatever potions you need, start to restock, get your head in the right place, that way you're ready when Jad comes. Now as soon as you kill that last mage monster, run into this corner where I run right here in the Italy Rock, and pan your camera around, so you can see where Jad coming from. Now, notice Jad does come from the other side, so which is nice. If that's the case for you, which is typically he will spawn over there, or towards the middle, so you can take a breather, drink your potions, get your prayer back up, eat whatever food you need to. This way you're ready for when Jad comes. Now, take a minute, whatever else you need, and then run towards him. Now remember, don't get within melee range, but have your prayers ready to switch. Okay, so Jad's going to have 2 different types of attacks. The first is when he stands up on his hind legs just like that and stays in the air for a little bit. That's a magic attack, and you want to pray for mage. Then when he slams the ground down and sends shockwaves, that's when you want to do pray from range. Now you want to watch it really closely because obviously if you miss, he can one-shot you. So just keep an eye on him. It's pretty simple. I don't even think I use my ability bar. I mean, I think I just used the 1 and 2. But you know, concentrate on your prayers. Watch the way he actually slams the ground. Now remember, slamming the ground, shockwaves, range, staying up in the air, mage. One thing I did notice in my first attempt was that I go to try to turn on a prayer and it takes a second to toggle. And if you click on it, and obviously maybe you're nervous about Jad, and then you don't think you clicked on it, so you click it again, and effectively you basically just turned it on and off very quickly, and then he one-shots you. So when you click on it, just get used to it taking that second to turn on. It'll be plenty of time to block the damage from him, but just something to note when you are fighting Jad. So notice now the healers start to come. So what you want to do is keep focusing Jad, keep watching when you prayer switch, but between every prayer switch, every time Jad does an attack, you make sure you have the right prayer, then click on one of the healers, then click back on Jad. Watch, wait till he does one of his attacks, make sure your prayer is correct, click a healer, keep clicking on Jad. Now in this case, I think I did get a little lucky because the way I positioned myself, some of the healers actually ran into me before they could get to Jad, so it was less healers for me to click on. But now as you can see, all the healers are isolated. Now, very key point, do not kill the healers, just let them attack you. They don't do any damage, they shouldn't hurt you too much. If they do, you know, just use your food. Same mentality, watch him use his ability, see which one he does, make sure your prayer is correct, eat some food, jump back to your prayers. Last thing of note I want to point out, notice the way I have my screen set up, how the prayers are right below where I'm clicking. So it's very easy to go from a prayer switch to click on Jad, prayer switch to click on Jad. I found this an easy setup. Now do what's comfortable for you, but I would recommend, this is what I've seen in a lot of videos, and this is what helped me, keeping it right here at the bottom, closer to where I'm clicking. That makes it a little bit easier, but use your discretion. As you can see, Jad's pretty easy at this point. I finished it up. Last point is that at the very end, when you kill him, he can still get one attack off. So watch him until he's completely dead. Don't turn off your prayer early, nothing like that. Just keep killing him. Make sure he's completely dead. And then your character will go in motion, and congratulations, you got the fire cape. Now if you guys like this video, please subscribe, give me a like, let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching.